So I have this. This is my little sifter, right? And just as a visual aid this morning. And when I think of this text, think of it like this with me. Today, you and I, we buy flour already mixed. Well, that is if it's available. Isn't it weird how flour of all things right now is like everybody's buying flour? I guess coronavirus makes everyone want to bake, or I don't know. But you and I, on most days when it's available, we buy flour already milled, pre-sifted and ready to use. Then, in the time that of Jesus in the biblical narrative we're reading about this morning, then raw grain would need to be ground. Okay? And at times it was interesting because the raw grain that was ground would at times have chaff in it, maybe even some small pebbles and some fragments of useless things still mixed in, making sifting necessary. Okay? In the same way, Satan wanted to separate Peter from Jesus by sifting him, by testing him, the same way he shakes us. Are you feeling that in these times? Are you feeling the sifting? Are you feeling the testing and the shaking, so to speak? Shaken with this COVID-19 crisis and pandemic, maybe a bad break. Maybe you're going through a bad break and you feel like, man, I'm shaken. A job loss. I know people have experienced being laid off of their job, and sickness. Maybe anxiety is shaking you right now. Fear and worry, relationship troubles, depression, loss, maybe some hurts, some aches and some pains, hopelessness, shaking you, testing you, trying you. Do you feel shaken? He uses, as you're being shaken in these times, he's using right now the crisis of your sifting and testing to transform your life for better, and in turn, what the enemy tried to use for evil, he tried to throw you out as chaff and walk all over you and defeat you with hopelessness and discouragement and despondency and depression. And he says you're chaff, but God looks at you and he holds you in his hand and he says, no, you're a rock. I'm going to use you to build the church, to grow the church in this season, because this time, like none else, is an unprecedented opportunity for God to use you miraculously. And the gates of hell, the enemy, will not prevail against it. He will not overcome you. In this world you will have trouble, but Jesus says, I have overcome. And this morning he can use you to unleash compassion and hope in a shaken society. Like with Peter and the early believers that we read about in our Bible that we stand on. Our sifting, our suffering together, and our scattering throughout Seattle and the world is actually going to work in our favor for the betterment of the church, capital C. Be encouraged this morning. Hope is alive, and we can be confident and have faith in God.